Do you want to read more and learn more, but life is just too busy? Your list keeps growing, so you think, I need to read faster. But that's actually the worst thing you can do. Because reading fast doesn't mean learning more. Studies show that reading faster often means the opposite, forgetting faster and learning less. Your real goal is to read smarter, so you can learn, remember, and actually use what you read without spending more time. I'm Angela. I learned this the hard way after reading over 1,000 non-fiction books and forgetting most of them, until I found a better way to make what I read stick. In this video, we'll break down why reading faster can actually hurt your understanding and retention, and what to do instead to achieve your real goal of learning more from books. Stick around until the end, because we'll also share a simple 4-step process that you can start using right away to learn faster and get more from what you read. Let's talk about the speed reading myth for a second. Most people make this mistake. They think, if I can double my reading speed, I'll finish twice as many books. So they turn to speed reading hacks like skimming, eye training, or finger tracking. But that actually backfires. Dr. Keith Rayner, a pioneer in reading science, found that once people push beyond their normal reading speeds, their comprehension drops sharply. Even if your eyes and your fingers can move quickly across a page, your brain cannot process all the ideas at the same rate, so you end up missing on a lot of details and nuances. So yes, you might finish the book faster, but you also forget it faster. Here's a great analogy for my business ReadinGraphics. Imagine your brain as a garden. Each book you read is like planting a seed. If you scatter hundreds of random seeds without knowing what you want to grow, most of them won't take root or survive. You end up wasting time and destroying your garden. Real learning is about planting deliberately, so solid, relevant ideas can grow and bear fruit. And that's what reading smarter is all about. Making sure that what you read actually sticks, improves how you think, and expands what you can do. How do you actually get more from books without spending more time? Learning science breaks this down into 4 principles. Let's break them down first, and then I'll show you how to apply them in real life. First, purpose. Before you even pick up a book, ask, why am I reading this? Because goal-directed learning leads to better focus and memory. When you have a clear purpose in mind, like solving a problem or learning a specific skill, you naturally read more selectively and attentively. It's like choosing which seeds to plant in your garden, so you don't waste time on seeds that won't grow in your soil. Next, don't just read passively. Actively engage with the content. Take notes, summarize it in your own words, and ask questions as you go. Learning scientists call this generative learning. By working with the ideas, you're giving your brain the cues that it needs to store and retrieve them later. Passive reading is like sprinkling water on hard concrete. Active reading breaks the surface so the ideas can actually take root. Next, we need reinforcement. We all forget things over time, and that's normal. Ebbinghaus' forgetting curve shows that if you don't review what you've learned, you can forget 50 to 90% of what you've learned in just days. The good news is, you just need to review for a few minutes a day or do a quick recap after a week to dramatically improve retention and lock ideas into memory. It's like watering your plants regularly so they don't dry out and die. Finally, we remember better when we link new ideas to what we already know. Your brain doesn't remember isolated facts well, but when you connect new ideas to your work, your goals, or other books that you've read, they stick. It's like weaving new threads into a fabric so it gets stronger. The best part is, these 4 principles make better use of the time that you already spend reading. Let's talk about how to use these principles to read and learn smarter. We're going to transform these 4 principles into a 4-step approach that I currently use to make the most of my limited reading and learning time. And I'll show you how exactly you can use ReadinGraphics free and paid resources for each step. First, start by choosing the right books. This first step is all about purpose. Be intentional about which books to invest time in. Think about all the books you've read. Chances are only a handful truly impacted you. You barely remember the rest. That's why you shouldn't try to read everything. Just focus on the few that really fit your goals right now. Ask yourself, what problem will this book help me to solve? Let's say you want to improve your influence and persuasion skills. You might have 6 highly recommended books on your list, but instead of spending 60+ hours reading all of them, invest just 30 minutes to preview and choose the one that best fits your needs. Don't just rely on online reviews, as other readers may have different learning goals. That's why the same book can get 1 star from a reader and 5 stars from another. Instead, preview the actual content to see if it matches your goals. You can also visit ReadinGraphics blog, which offers free summaries of many top non-fiction books. Even better, if you have a paid ReadinGraphics account, just dive into the full infographic in minutes to see if the specific ideas help with your challenge. Within 30 minutes, you have a good mental overview of all 6 books and what influence and persuasion might involve. Now you can choose just one best book that has the most relevant framework and tips for your current goal. Now you're ready for step 2. Engage the content intentionally. Work with the ideas so they really stick. Because you don't just want to finish the book, you want to remember and apply it. Here are a few tips to get started. Make reading a short daily habit, even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes a day. You'll probably finish the book faster this way than if you try to read it all at one go. Highlight key passages and take notes in your own words. Ask yourself, how does this apply to my life, work, or goals? And jot down the application ideas. Summarize the key ideas and imagine teaching it to someone to reinforce your understanding. That brings us to the next step, reinforcement. Remember the forgetting curve? No matter how intentionally you read, you will still forget the bulk of it if you don't reinforce the ideas. And that's normal. If you want to retain 80 to 95% of what you learn instead of forgetting them, you need to review the materials strategically. Here's how to do that with ReadinGraphics. After reading a book, try reviewing the visual summary to see the whole book at a glance. This connects ideas in your mind and locks them in visually. You can also zoom in on specific areas to compare your notes with the text summary or brainstorm more application ideas. After a few days or weeks, try listening to the audio summary when you're commuting or exercising. These reviews don't take much time, but they greatly deepen your learning. The best learning doesn't come from isolated facts or ideas, but when you connect them to build a network of ideas that actually support and reinforce each other. Let's say you chose to read the book Influence in detail, but that doesn't mean that you have to forget about the other 5 books. You can use the earlier tips to revisit the other books without having to read them from cover to cover. For example, use the free or paid ReadinGraphics summaries to pull out the key ideas and compare them with what you've read. Just by linking those insights back to what you have already learned, you're building a stronger mental map around a specific goal or topic. And here's a pro tip. To make the takeaways visible, try printing the infographics as a poster, use post-it notes, or pin and connect useful ideas in your digital notes like an ideas canvas. This is a behind-the-scenes peek at my Canva notes, which I use to research our Growth Garden and ReadinGraphics learning videos. Can you see how these 4 principles and 4 steps can totally transform the way you read and learn? Instead of trying to read faster, only to forget most of it, you're now reading smarter, making better use of the time that you have, and building knowledge that you can actually remember and use. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself, and you'll see how this new way of reading will multiply your results. Now, if you need help with any of these steps, including recommended books for your specific goals, check out the useful links below, or just drop the ReadinGraphics team a note. Remember, you don't have to read every book, just the right ones in the right way. See you in the next video.